You are listening to the TWT Podcast Network.
You didn't scream, boom shakalaka. You didn't howl at the moon.
Paul, say something stupid.
Bologna, fudge, and mustard. My life is being ruined by the internet.
I'm here to stay. Make a good lucha thing.
Where's my fucking champ?
This will be the moment, starting now, of the genesis of McGillicuddy.
We're going to the top of the totem pole.
This is the Wrestling Botchcast with your hosts, Scotty the Brain and Sean Bradshaw Layfield.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Wrestling Botchcast. I am Scotty the Brain. I am joined with SBL.
Yeah.
And Stunning Stevie.
What it is.
Hello, gentlemen. So today, as always, we're going to talk about the dirt sheets. We are going to run down what went on in wrestling this week. We got some hot takes for you, and we're going to close everything out with the match of the week. So apparently Samir Singh is nearing a return from his, I think he had an MCL tear. So he's getting close to coming back. I think it'll be pretty easy for them to work him back into the storylines because he basically will hop into Genderland.
Yeah, it'll be really easy to bring someone who nobody cares about back into a position that nobody cared about.
To help a superstar that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Jinder in a while, have we?
No, it's been a couple weeks, I think. Well, he was at the Money in the Bank.
Maybe I think he had one thing backstage with somebody, maybe, where they were taking pictures and he smashed a camera. I don't know. But I think that was like 3 weeks ago.
Well, no, actually, he was on Raw this past week. Remember, he was doing the breathing with Kevin Owens. But that was
right.
So he's doing like tiny little spots here and there, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. So, yeah, no one really
care
cares
enough about this dude's life. Yeah,
No.
man, like whatever. Do your thing. Everyone deserves to collect a paycheck. Go for it. But I'm not going to be tuning in.
No.
I like Jinder Mahal. I like Jinder.
Really?
I like here's my thing. I like the idea of the character, but he's just not a good wrestler to back it up.
I agree with that.
He had a couple of good matches recently. I mean, I know when he was doing the Randy Orton feud, that was pretty garbage, and it was basically the same results for like 4 major matches. But I can't remember who he was wrestling more recent, the past like 5 months or so.
He had the Jeff Hardy thing at Greatest Royal Rumble that was the Botch Fest.
Yeah.
Not to be confused.
No, it was before that. It may have been with AJ Styles.
Those were his best matches for sure.
Well, I mean, you can really not suck when you're with AJ.
And Seth Rollins.
Yeah, they'll carry the team.
Right.
As they did.
Yeah, but that's kind of the problem with his whole deal, though, is that he needs someone who's amazing to make him look less shitty.
It's very true.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I think he's cool. I like his character. I think he's a really good worker. And, I mean, the Singh brothers, they're just there for legit injuries. And, in this case, I guess one of them actually did get hurt. But I like the whole thing, man. I love Jinder Mahal.
I think your brain's been hurt with all these crazy words you're saying.
I don't know. I don't know what you mean, man. It's okay to like Jinder Mahal, and I was sad that I didn't stand 8 hours in line to meet him at Access.
You really would have done that? He didn't have an 8-hour line, did he?
No. I was exaggerating. It was probably like half an hour, but I'd already stood for half an hour for Sasha Banks. So
I think he might be the only one I wouldn't stand a half an hour in line for. That's probably not true.
I wouldn't stand a half an hour in line for anyone. Like, you guys get enough attention. You'll certainly be fine without me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, damn, when you got like 400 people standing in line and each person gets like 30 seconds with them, it adds up.
I just wouldn't see Jinder as a big selling point, and a popular man that people are like lining up to meet. But, maybe people like him. I guess we know one person that does now.
Yeah, well, diehard wrestling fans, they know it's all just like a character.
Oh, I know.
They still like the person,
I have no problem with his character. My problem with him is in the ring.
Yeah, same. I just don't
His character is A-okay with me. I can't watch him wrestle without my eyes bleeding.
If he didn't look the way he did, I don't think he'd be in the ring.
You mean like all jacked up?
Exactly. He has the look that Vince McMahon loves. The
Cough,
jacked up
cough, steroids.
big dude. Yeah. And that's
Well, hey,
the only reason he's in the ring. Otherwise, he would be sitting down in NXT as a jobber.
Or on the indies.
Yeah.
Or not wrestling at all.
Any of those things except for where he's at now. Because honestly, I just don't think he's a great wrestler. I've never seen anything from him that made me say, wow, he's really good in the ring. It's always, wow, Seth Rollins made him look good. Wow, AJ Styles made him look real good. Those are the only good matches he's had. You put him in there with Randy Orton, who I'm not thrilled with either, and they have terrible match after terrible match. Jeff Hardy's a great wrestler, but let's be honest, he's at the end of his career, and he kind of relies a little bit on the other guy to kind of pick up a little bit of the slack that he's lost after taking so many bumps to the head and, crazy dives that, Jeff Hardy's even said himself that he relies a lot on the other guy now, especially when he does his finisher. When he does that swanton, like he said, he used to kind of lean forward a little bit more so that it wouldn't hurt the other guy. Now he's like, I'm putting all my body weight on him. I don't care. He's like, it hurts my back when I do it still. And then you get in there with Jinder, and Jinder just doesn't sell for you, or he oversells for you, even when he doesn't get hit with the move, whisper in the wind. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the Jinder who needs to be hindered.
On a side note, I guess it's kind of on topic, but they're putting out that new SmackDown scale ring, and it comes with an exclusive Jinder Mahal figure.
Really?
Yeah, because you know how like Raw had the one with Goldberg, or Oldberg, because it's the older version of Goldberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
SmackDown Live is doing the Jinder Mahal one. It looks pretty sweet if you look up the sculpting of it, but I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people that listen to this get down with the figures, but
welcome to Stevie's Toy Show, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I like looking at that stuff, man. Anything nerdish, man, I'm down.
Of all the guys to put in that, though, why do they choose him? Is that... I guess they're just assuming people are going to buy it because it's a ring.
That's the figure that didn't sell, so they had to throw him in.
They're like, we got so many of these. Let's just throw them in the pack.
It's exclusive, though. It's exclusive. It's brand new, but I think maybe because when Mattel decides to make those things, they get the licensing months ahead of time. So maybe it was because he was champion at the time.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
That sounds about right because that's about when Goldberg was champ too.
Yeah. Which was terrible. Oh my God.
Yeah, it sure was.
This from the guy who loves Jinder Mahal saying Goldberg championship run was terrible.
I don't
even know what podcast I'm on anymore.
Well, I love Kevin Owens, and Goldberg I hate. I've always hated Goldberg. And I can give you a bunch of reasons why, but we don't have all night. But here's a few. He ruined Bret Hart's career. He can't wrestle longer than 7 minutes. And he's a piece of shit.
Well, who could argue with that? Those sound reasons.
I couldn't think of the third one off the top of my head.
And by the way, he's a piece of shit. Quote, some guy who doesn't know him.
Well, I'm just talking about, everything. I've watched a lot of shoot videos and stuff over the years, and, I'm just going based off of that. And the fact that he squashed everybody and was a prick about it and, ruined Bret Hart's career. That's a pretty big issue for me.
Hold on. How is he a prick for squashing everybody?
I'm not necessarily talking about squashing them is what makes him a prick, but I've seen a lot of shoot videos of people that have worked with him, and they've
I know Bret Hart has complained about him at length, but they've been hot and cold on each other over the years. But I know Stone Cold and him are friends. He's got friends in the industry. I don't think it's...
Yeah. Well, look at WrestleMania 21, him and Brock Lesnar. That's like one of the worst matches in WWE history.
I feel like the crowd is the reason that was one of the worst matches in history. They knew that neither guy was re-signing, and so the crowd just booed them just because they knew that it was just a paycheck to them.
It could be both, but I do know that there was not a lot of maneuvers done in that match, and there's not really a lot of maneuvers done in any Goldberg match, but that's a whole other that's a whole nother hour of material to talk about. Right?
He's way too old now to be doing anything. So
yeah, even back then he didn't do a whole lot. Most of his matches were like 5 minutes or less.
But here's
even
the
back
thing,
in his
man.
WCW
Here's
days.
the thing. Okay, so that is true, but was Goldberg the booker? No, he was told to do those things. He was told to squash guys.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that the booker themselves had to kind of play to his strengths as well.
Yeah, they wanted to make
they wanted
to make a monster, and they succeeded.
They definitely did.
I will say one good thing about Goldberg. When I was at Access this year with my brother, he went through his line and got the top of a belt plate box signed. And the guy that was in charge of setting up the autographs and everything had placed the next person's autographed stuff on top of his auto and completely ruined the box. And from what my brother told me, Goldberg was pretty upset about it and at least signed a portrait to give to him. But still, it still messed up his auto. But I will say that at least he was nice enough to acknowledge that the dude that was, over the autographs was screwing up and did right to my brother. But, I mean, hell, he wanted the belt.
Oh, so from what I'm gathering is that your one and only experience with him personally was a positive one.
Well, it wasn't with me; it was with somebody else.
But it's the one and only experience you've heard about for a firsthand encounter.
Well, all I know is I've never sat there after watching one of his matches and been like, "Damn, that was a really good match."
Oh, bullshit! You watch Goldberg and DDP for the title.
Halloween Havoc, of course, I've seen that.
Okay, well that was a great match. Then what's your problem?
Well, DDP is awesome.
There were two people in that match, my friend.
All right, okay, one good match in 25 years. I got you.
Hey man, sometimes that's all it takes. We'll be talking about
James Ellsworth versus AJ.
Yes, exactly. We'll be talking about Omega versus Okada for the next 100 years.
That's probably
Meltzer's
true.
still giving it stars.
He hasn't run out of stars yet for it.
Or that ladder match at TakeOver with
that
with everybody good.
I mean that was an excellent.
Oh, I
one,
love
so
that
I
match.
cannot disagree with that one. One of my favorites. It's one of the few matches I've watched more than once over the last year.
Yeah. So Samir Singh is supposed to come back. Any idea like how long?
No, not sure yet. Just said he's nearing a return, so he should be back. Probably, I would say probably back on TV in the next month or two at least.
Cool, because I'm kind of missing Randy Orton slamming those dudes around.
Randy Orton's still going to be out for a little while. He had a knee surgery, so
Yeah. Well, I mean, just anybody can slam him around. I'm okay with that.
yeah, Jinder's not even in a feud right now with anybody. So, I mean, maybe Jinder will just slam him around. I don't know.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, it would. I wouldn't put it past him though. All right, moving on. So Daniel Bryan was on a podcast this week, and I don't know whether it was a podcast or a TV show or something over in England, and he was questioning WWE's ability to tell a long-term story with he and The Miz. He said, I'm definitely up for it. My question, you asked me that question, I'll answer it with a question. Do you trust WWE with telling that story from now until WrestleMania 35? He then laughs and said, like, what in the last several years has shown to you that something like that is possible here?
Yeah.
Does that make you guys think that he's not re-signing?
It doesn't make me think one way or the other. What it makes me think is that he's at a point in his life where he's just willing to be honest, which is something I can relate to. I don't think it says whether he's signing one way or another or tips his cards in any specific direction. I do think that he gets it and he realizes that for better or worse, he's in the biggest company in the world for his position. He's one of the biggest stars in the world at what he does. But he gets it. He knows that, like, the storylines were better when he was fighting Kenta in New Japan. He understands. He's not... The guys in See, I think that we hear people toe the company line so much that we think that we think these guys have had the company Kool-Aid to the point of poisoning themselves, but I think what really goes on behind the scenes, just because of what I've heard him say, what I've heard Jericho say, they get that this shit is stupid, and they get that WWE storylines are ridiculous, but, you want to be the big fish in the big pond, and for whatever reason, WWE has been very good for his career. I don't think he resents them. I don't think he feels bad. I just think he's being true. And wrestlers aren't as stupid as some people think they are, you know what I mean? They know that these storylines are dumb, but they want to work for WWE. Some of these guys, you look at like Zack Ryder, who has constantly posting pictures on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter of him, meeting Razor Ramon as a kid, like his life's goal was to be in WWE. He knows the stories are dumb. He knows that they completely screwed him in handling his character. He knows that he went from being cheered over The Rock to being a complete Jay Brown. But like, he's in the company. He's doing the thing that he wants. He's in the company he wants to be in. How can you fault the guy for that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know Daniel Bryan has a lot of loyalty to the WWE, especially, giving him the GM position and everything whenever he was injured and out. I just don't know. I mean, the Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton thing I was talking about earlier, that went on for a really long time. I don't know. If he doesn't have faith in the writing staff, I mean, that really doesn't say much about how the fans should have faith in it either. I mean, I do get what he's saying, though. I mean, there are a lot of short-term storylines that go on now, but I think that they could totally pull it off if they wanted to. I don't know if there's a lot of hype in that. I don't know if there's a lot of hype in it now, though, with The Miz, now going after the U.S. title this past week, and with him teaming up with Kane, that's going to at least go on until SummerSlam.
I think that this feud, while it could last until WrestleMania 35, and they could stretch it out, just based on what we've seen so far, they seem to have Daniel Bryan avoiding The Miz at this point. They've been on kind of opposite ends and just little things here and there that continually happen. But if you look at the fans and people complaining about the Shinsuke and AJ Styles feud lasting too long, because they had a set of maybe, was it like 8 or 9 matches? And people are bitching about that.
Yeah.
Now can you really think that Daniel Bryan, the golden boy Daniel Bryan, feuding with one person from now until, April of next year?
10 months, pretty much.
10. Yeah, there's no way that they could get away with that without some kind of fan backlash. It would happen.
Yeah,
because people have such short term.
Bear in mind, the Nakamura AJ Styles thing was the thing that everybody wanted. And it's like, oh, I can't believe we're finally getting the thing. And now 2 months later, it's like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. Get off my TV.
Exactly.
With The Miz and Daniel Bryan, they could do it, but like it's going to have to be like a very, very slow, subtle build up.
Which is what seems like they're doing right now, because when they had that gauntlet match, 2 or 3 weeks back, or I guess it's been longer than that now, leading up to Money in the Bank, they did that gauntlet match for the last spot in Money in the Bank, and you saw Miz come out when Daniel Bryan was just battered by the Bludgeon Brothers, and gets the quick pin. It's just one more little piece that they're adding into that feud. So I think they're playing the long game, and I think they're playing it smart right now, because they know that's what everybody wants at the moment. But they want the payoff to be good. Now, we don't want them to mishandle it like they have, say, the Bayley and Sasha thing that's been going on.
Yeah.
But so instead, I think what's going to happen, this is my thought on Extreme Rules. Team Hell No is going to team up against the Bludgeon Brothers. I have a feeling the Miz is going to interfere in some way, because he was there when that feud kind of started.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's going to interfere one way or the other. There may be.
I kind of miss talking smack, man. That was the whole thing that started the Daniel Bryan and Miz thing. Like, the Miz literally started that shit.
Yep. Well, I feel like that might come back with the new Fox deal, because they're talking about having multiple WWE shows on Fox.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did clarify from last week, we didn't know if it was going to be on Fox or FS1. It is going to be on Fox.
Yeah, I read that too last week.
Public TV.
Yes, so it will be on Fox. Now, NXT, they're not sure yet, but SmackDown will definitely air on Fox. So it's very possible that they do a Talking Smack or something. It probably won't air right after it, because they have a hard stop at 10 o'clock for the local news and things like that. But, it's a possibility that comes back. But anyways, I think that the Team Hell No thing is just another small piece of them getting Daniel Bryan and The Miz, to either, SummerSlam might be their first meeting, possibly. It may be Survivor Series. Who knows?
And I'm leaning with you on that too, because I don't think Kane's he's gonna job for longer than a few months before he takes another break. He's too old for this crap.
It's very, very possible.
Because I mean, remember he came back last year for like a month. Was in that triple threat for no reason. And
no, he was in there to take the pin. That was not no reason. He was in there to take the pin.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying though. Like
Oh yeah.
He didn't add anything to that match. He just took the loss.
Because they didn't want Braun or Brock to lose. So Also, speaking of Daniel Bryan, so DirtySheets.net reported that WWE officials are booking Daniel Bryan's current run under the assumption that he's not resigning with the company when his contract expires on September 1st. So that's why we've seen the matches he's had with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, in that triple threat match with Jeff Hardy, and then the Team Hell No reunion. That's why they've done that in such a short time. So they said that this would usually be about 1 year's worth of booking for him.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Daniel Bryan's next feud most likely will be against The Miz. And Dirty Sheets is reporting The Miz will cost Bryan the SmackDown Tag Team title match at Extreme Rules, and that will result in them having a match at SummerSlam. Now they're saying if Daniel Bryan agrees to sign a 3-month extension until December 1st, then they'll book 2 pay-per-view matches between him and The Miz, and he'll beat The Miz at SummerSlam and then lose to The Miz at Hell in a Cell this year. Now, with the short contract extension, he'd be able to work the big live event shows in Australia and Saudi Arabia, because remember, they're going back to Saudi Arabia again this year for the Greatest Survivor Series, or whatever they're going to call that.
Seriously?
Yes. Yeah, they had a deal for 2 dates a year for the next 10 years, I believe.
Jesus. That's a lot of disappointment.
Yep. No doubt. Now, if he doesn't agree to a contract extension, then The Miz is going to beat him at SummerSlam, and that's the end of their feud. But from what I've seen recently is that they're negotiating a contract right now. So it's very possible that the deal gets done within the next month or so. And I can't see him leaving WWE.
I can't either, and I feel like it would be a real shame if he didn't get the Nakamura feud, because that's the whole reason Nakamura went over.
I agree. I think he's going to get that one. I think he's going to get The Miz first and then on to Nakamura. And I think it might be for a title at that point. Maybe the U.S. title. Maybe Nakamura wins it at Extreme Rules. Who knows? I can't see him leaving. He's in a too cushy of a position right now. He's got that Total Bellas show that he's on. I mean, he leaves the company. He gives up all of that. And, his cushy lifestyle he has now to go back on the indies if he wants to continue wrestling, which obviously he does because he fought so hard to get back.
Yeah.
And have to deal with that travel schedule and going all over the place. If he joins NJPW, it's back and forth from Japan. WWE is a pretty chill lifestyle when it comes down to it, because they do, 3 or 4 days a week?
I don't know about that. I feel like the guys on the indies do like 2 days a week, and then they talk about
That's
how much
true.
better it is than working WWE, because even though you are working TV 2 days a week and maybe you're doing 2 house shows, you're still doing all that travel because you have to get from one place to another.
That's definitely true. So it'd be interesting to see. We should probably find something out within the next month or so. I mean, we're going to have to. His contract is up September 1st. So I'm sure they're working diligently to try to get it done.
Yeah,
All right, moving on. So apparently WWE's Saturday night main event is set to return to NBC. Cable specials were on frequently where big storylines and angles would play out in WWE outside of pay-per-views before Raw. So they use that as kind of another outlet in the past. For some of the smaller feuds, I would think, you wouldn't see a lot of the bigger guys on there. I know now they have something just called, the main event that airs on the network every week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's basically the dark matches that happen before Raw or SmackDown. So, but yeah, a sports journalist, Brad Shepard, broke the news this week. He said he learned that an occasional special event thought to be a reboot of Saturday night's main event will be televised once WWE enters its new television deals with Fox and NBC. So, and it won't be consistent. It's going to be kind of like a special feature before the pay-per-view.
Cool.
It seems like. So that'll be all right. It'll be something different.
Seems like they want to have something new to watch 6 days of every week,
Yeah, the problem is that the writing sucks now, so it's not going to go over, I think, quite as well as it did in the 80s.
Probably not.
Especially if they're going to put a lot of the pre-show matches that are a lot of people that no one really cares about.
Who knows what they'll do with it? Unless they just use it as kind of just a final build to the pay-per-view. You have kind of all the guys on there and cutting promos. You probably won't get a whole lot of wrestling, I don't think.
Yeah.
Especially if they're just trying to, one last-ditch effort for people to
Because, you got to
join
think,
the WWE Network.
When that goes down, you got Monday Night Raw. You'll have 205 on Tuesdays, NXT on Wednesdays. Then Saturday nights you'll have that, and then Sunday nights you'll have pay-per-views, and Friday you'll have SmackDown. I know I didn't do that in order.
Do you know the days of the week, by the way?
Yeah, I do. I just I put them in Stevie C order. Stunning Stevie C order.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it next year. I'm still not looking forward to SmackDown being on Friday, but it's neither here nor there. Next up, apparently the Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss Twitter beef is not a work. So Nia has unfollowed Alexa and has been liking a lot of anti-Alexa tweets online. And apparently she has incurred the wrath of WWE officials because of her tweet about Alexa's new I Am Enough tattoo. I think we talked about that last week, how she tweeted out about that, something real snarky. And apparently there's been some kind of falling out between the two behind the scenes, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just be not breaking kayfabe.
It's possible, but I don't know, man. There seems to be a lot of places reporting that they've like had a huge falling out backstage.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever know the full story of that. Maybe in 10 years on Bruce Pritchard's podcast. I don't know.
Well, either way, at least we're gonna get some good some action out of those two.
Might get some real life punches.
Yeah, might actually have a pretty good match at Extreme Rules.
Since their match is an Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules.
Yep.
Ooh.
I was kind of hoping that there would be more Extreme Rules matches announced this week, but
so was I. I mean, there's literally just the one right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's
other than the Iron Man match, which isn't really like an Extreme Rule thing.
And they still haven't. I know we were talking about the cage match last week with KO and Braun, but that still hasn't been publicly announced on there either. So that must be the big reveal on Monday, or this coming Monday.
It has to be. I mean, they've been building to it with KO running away all the time. You know, it would make sense to enclose him in a cage, I guess. They always seem to work that storyline. You know, they want someone in a cage match. You get one of the guys to run away constantly. So, next up, Bray Wyatt was in a car accident for real this week. He had a pretty traumatic head injury, which caused him to forget how and what happened in the accident. Apparently, the accident was his fault as well, and he was cited for negligent driving. So I don't know what he was doing. He hit apparently a car or two head on, and he had some pretty bad head trauma. He couldn't remember anything about what happened. And the ring announcer JoJo, who is his current girlfriend and the reason for his divorce, was in the car as well. But WWE chose not to report that because of having to deal with this in a court case during Bray and his ex-wife's divorce proceedings. Ah, poor Bray.
Yeah, that is really, honestly, that's sad. But, you know, he gets JoJo, so you can't feel that bad for him.
That's true.
That would explain his absence, you know, this past week. That sucks for him. You know, it must be hard to drive with a lantern in your lap. I mean,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That hat and all that hair and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he's okay though, right? I mean, I poke fun of him.
Yeah, apparently he's supposed to be back. I mean, they're still promoting the match for Extreme Rules, so I mean, they're guessing he's gonna be back, but I imagine he sustained some kind of concussion or something if he's having trouble remembering what happened.
Yeah, I only poke fun of him if he's okay. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody.
No, same.
Heck yeah, man. I actually, when Bray Wyatt first came around, he was like my favorite character in the company. It just sucks that booking totally screwed him.
He had a lot of, you know, he has a lot of charisma and stuff you don't see in a lot of other people. He's unique, you know, like Enzo was.
He's unique. His finish is amazing. He's a good talker. He's actually a solid wrestler. He's had great matches.
Yeah, I actually have a piece of the ring framed from 33 where he had that match with Randy Orton.
Did it come with a collectible?
It did not come with any collectibles. Only the piece of ring.
I guess the ring's pretty collectible.
Yeah, I guess the ring itself, but I meant toys. Did it come with any toys, Stevie?
Nah, I don't have a Bray Wyatt figure yet, but you're right. I should totally get one
someday. Yeah, keep the dream alive.
Get on there, man. So Ruby Riott got hurt last week at a live show. She had an MRI this week, and it looks like she has an MCL sprain. So she's definitely going to miss some time. Not exactly sure how much yet, but she will not be on TV for a little while, which leaves the two, how can I say this lightly? The two not as good wrestlers left in the Riot Squad.
The female Singh brothers?
The female Singhs? Yeah.
Yeah. This is like the 9th person that's got hurt in the past like 2 weeks. What's going on?
It's crazy, dude. There's been so many injuries lately. I don't know what's happening. And I mean, usually WWE, the superstars work pretty safe, but I mean, just crazy things happen. There's not much you can help.
Yeah, it bums me out because I really liked Ruby, and I thought that she had maybe not like top of the card potential, but definitely just a fun character, you know?
Yeah, I mean, from what I'd read too, is they were bracing her for a push. You know, she's gotten pins in the last couple of weeks, and you know, they were looking to build her up as the next contender for the title. So that's gonna set her back a little bit, but hopefully she comes back fairly soon. We're lacking some real heel females at this point. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. The other two ladies that are in the Riot Squad, weren't they the ones that were in that skit with Elias this past week?
I think so. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan.
I think it was them. Remember, he was playing guitar backstage, and
Yeah.
they came
Yeah,
up,
you're
and
right.
then they knocked a bunch of shit over for no reason at all.
Oh yeah, that's definitely them. Yeah,
That's another thing. Like,
yeah.
okay,
Liv had a match this week.
Monday Night Raw this week was the Roman Reigns show because
Yeah, that's the fucking worst.
I mean, they had Jinder Mahal
God.
there, but he wasn't doing anything but doing a little skit. Then they had Elias in a little skit. It's like, why aren't you getting these guys working? Because those are actually, well, I know you disagree, but those are actually good talent on, you know, Monday Night Raw. But instead they have the same tag team match. What is this, the third week in a row? Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns versus Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson.
Yeah.
Second or third time in a row. It's like, come on. It's like just it's like they built that story and they had like extra weeks that they didn't plan for before the pay-per-view to resolve it. So they were like, let's just make them wrestle again. And Roman Reigns, you know, he did good in his skits this week, but he still was in the entire damn show. And, you know, everybody hates him, and this is not helping.
No, it's absolutely not. You actually dove into our hot takes before we got to hot takes.
Oh, well.
But you right. So in hot takes this week, we got too much Roman on Raw this week. There was exactly 49 minutes of Roman Reigns in a 3-hour show this week.
Yeah, not to mention it's really only like 2 hours and 20 minutes because of commercials.
That's true. So yeah, 49 minutes of that was Roman Reigns on our television, which is freaking crazy. I mean, like we talked about last week, he's in like 6 different feuds right now, so we don't know, you know, who he's going to fight after Bobby Lashley, because you know he's going to pin Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah.
Which is a damn shame, because at least Bobby Lashley is like the only big person left that has the opportunity to beat Brock without being beat, you know?
Oh, I know.
He's the only man that we could have faith in.
I guess, but either that or they're just building it up so that during the Bobby Lashley and Roman match, like, the Revival comes in and beats him up, and Dolph and Drew come in and beat them up, and I mean, who knows? Who knows? They have him all over the place. I think they're just like throwing shit at the wall and see what sticks at this point. Like, if we just put them all over the place, maybe like one of those feuds will get over.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, next, so we're find out this week that we're getting Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler in an Iron Man match at Extreme Rules. You know my and SBL's thoughts on this. We're super excited for it. When I heard it, I'm like, finally a match I can look forward to at Extreme Rules. But Stevie doesn't feel that way. Stevie, why?
Well, I mean,
why?
Okay, I'm always excited to see Seth Rollins burn it down. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Dolph Ziggler too. But it's just like, they've been doing this for like the past few weeks, and making it a 30-minute Iron Man match makes no difference to the match at all, because all their matches are 30 minutes anyways. It's like, at least make it no DQ 30 minutes, because it's Extreme Rules. Nobody wants to see them do the same freaking match for the title for the 3rd time in a row, because we all know that Seth Rollins is getting that shit back.
I don't think he is.
Well, I mean, I doubt you. I doubt what you believe.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, I can't wait for the prediction show. We got one that's going to be different already.
You can't.
I think Ziggler's going to hold it, man.
You can't bet against Black, man. You can't bet against Seth Rollins.
You got Drew McIntyre as your wild card in there. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't you forget.
Well, I mean, actually, you know, I guess the WWE writing staff is in the business of pissing people off, so maybe they will let Dolph Ziggler hold it for a little bit longer.
I think they will. I feel good about it.
I think their logic behind things is okay, if they're a really popular character, they don't need gold to work. You know, and that explains the Daniel Bryan thing with Kane, you know, instead of going after the title. And, you know, everyone hates Roman, so that's why he hasn't gotten the title yet. Plus, Brock is, you know, getting special treatment, I feel like, at this point. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Shinsuke, everybody hates him now, so he don't need to beat AJ. And they don't want to do anything to AJ, especially with him being on the cover of the game this year. Like, he's going to ride it for a while.
Oh, there was a report that came out this week from backstage. Someone quoted Vince McMahon saying he wished he'd signed AJ 10 years ago and that they anticipate him having a historic run with the title.
He is probably, save from, like, he's top 5 wrestlers in the world. That's absolutely right. He is not only that, but he's a good company guy. He is, he's just the right choice. He's the best wrestler. He's the most popular wrestler. He's the most agreeable wrestler. He's a nice guy. He's a good interview. You know, like, he's just the person. He's the kind of person you want to be the face of your company.
Yeah. Yep. Every match that he is in is awesome. Like, remember when he filled in against Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that, what was that, Survivor Series?
Yeah, it was Survivor Series.
Yeah, it was Survivor Series.
And then he also filled in at SummerSlam against Finn Balor.
No, that was.
I think that was the next Survivor Series, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
Yeah, he was actually in like South Africa or something, and like flew overnight.
Yeah, because
to get
Kevin
there
Owens was punished or something.
To whoop some ass.
Or he got hurt. Someone got hurt or sick. I think KO got hurt, I think.
Could you imagine being in South Africa, getting on a plane because you got to go whoop somebody's ass on TV?
Oh, he lost that match, though.
He lost, though, yeah. The demon beat him.
He didn't lose inside of my heart, okay?
He's always a winner in our hearts.
Oh, he's the best, man.
He lost.
Well, you know, I got
to demon.
You know, speaking of toys, I actually met him earlier this year, and he signed one of my figures.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's a reason to get a figure, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, man, before you know it, you're gonna have a fucking shelf of them. I'm telling you, man. You just wait for that WWE shop sale. You'll have some figures. You know you want to get that SmackDown Live ring. Don't even act like you don't want that. It comes with Jinder Mahal. I don't want that. You don't want to buy that and get Jinder Mahal so you can beat him up?
Not at all, sir.
Not even while you're taking a dump. Just put it right there on the sink while you're pooping.
I feel like
we've gotten off topic.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like Jinder Mahal is the dump. It's a metaphor, y'all.
I hope he.
Oh, I get it.
I hope he hears this one day.
Here's the thing. I like his character. I like his character. He's just a bad wrestler, and the only thing that's going to help him is to spend a lot of time practicing with better wrestlers. So he's in the right place.
Exactly. All right, let's move on before we get on another rabbit hole. All right, so we found out Nia and Alexa Bliss will be an Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules, but we also found out this week that Ronda Rousey will be at Extreme Rules, and she will be ringside at the same time. So she said she found a loophole, which is buying a front row ticket, quote unquote, buying a front row ticket to Extreme Rules so she can be there. So the odds on her jumping over that railing, I think, are real good.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 100% she's going to get involved.
Yep.
Now, who she beats up, I mean, could be both of them. Could be one of them. But it is an Extreme Rules match. So she can extremely beat one of them up.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens.
As far as violence goes in that match, she is the only thing that's going to
be violent.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because, these days they don't really hit each other with those weapons, but she don't give a shit. She gets in the zone, and I mean, you saw her beat the hell out of Kurt Angle and Alexa Bliss a couple weeks ago. I mean,
yeah, I thought she broke Kurt's hand. He was audibly shaking his hand after she hit him with the briefcase.
Yeah, it was pretty good, and that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Honestly, there's probably going to be a lot of women involved in that match. If Natalya doesn't have a match, she'll probably be involved. Mickie James might be involved. It's just going to be it's going to be a big cluster. And,
It definitely will be.
And that would actually be great. I want the match to be great because I like Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax, so I want it to be badass, especially for the women's revolution.
The thing that sucks is the finish is going to be stupid because it's going to have something to do with Ronda.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like, it won't be a clean finish.
Alexa's probably going to win.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know. I'm not hyped for that match, unfortunately. I want to be, but we saw it at WrestleMania, and it didn't look good at WrestleMania. So
yeah,
but that was more about just letting Nia Jax finally get the title. I think
and telling everybody that they're a star.
Yeah, well, I just think that for at least a year, they had all those little 130, 140 pound girls beating her in matches when obviously that would never ever happen.
No.
So I felt like it was almost like a gimme. And I don't want to take any credit away from Nia Jax and her career or anything, but it kind of does feel like she got a pity title win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, she kind of did. I mean, considering the fact that Asuka put her down multiple times, it was just, it didn't make any sense, but it is what it is at this point, I guess.
But a title win at WrestleMania is still a title win at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. So, we had Crazy Bayley last week that kicks the hell out of Sasha Banks, and everyone gets a little bit hyped for this feud again because of how brutal all that was last week, and Bayley kind of snapped. And then this week we get a comedy segment. Does this make any sense to anyone? Wouldn't you feel like they want to capitalize on the heat it's actually getting now and have something in ring? Or
I actually didn't think this was that bad.
Oh, really?
I mean, how can you say no to Dr. Shelby?
It was Dr. Shelby, but it wasn't like vintage Dr. Shelby, unfortunately.
Yeah. I guess you got to
feel the same.
You have to meet Dr. Shelby where he is. You have to take Dr. Shelby as he lies.
I can be honest, my favorite thing of that segment was the painting he had of Kane and Daniel Bryan in the background.
Right.
I watched the first part of the segment, and then for the remainder of the night that it came up, I fast-forwarded it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because I watch it as soon as it goes off, because I don't like to watch it live with the commercials. I always fast-forward it, because I don't want to watch, that.
An hour of commercials.
Well, that and, when there's cheesy segments or something, I give it a couple minutes, but, do you really... okay, here's a perfect example. When Sami Zayn did that sister segment with Bobby Lashley, would you not have loved to have fast-forwarded that?
Oh, absolutely. All the segments they did with Lashley and Sami Zayn, I would have fast-forwarded through. They were all bad.
Well, I liked at least the obstacle course I liked, and also when he was in the crowd, like where he was talking smack from the stairs. I like that, but that sister stuff, man, yeah, you got to fast forward that. And like the Sasha and Bayley thing, it was cool when she whooped her ass, last week, but this week, fast forward in that. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's not in your brain then. That's good. You can still just remember last week. Remember the good times.
Yep.
Awesome.
Not the bad times like this week.
Yeah. I gave it a shot, man. I tried.
Listen, that's all we can ask of you. That's all we can ask. I wasn't digging it at all. So this whole KO Braun storyline is really making me feel sympathy for KO at this point, which I'm not sure that's the reaction that WWE's creative is going for. And I really don't feel like I'm alone in this either. It just seems like Braun's beating his ass for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, does it make sense to either one of you guys at this point?
I think part of it is that I'm such a big KO fan that I feel like if anyone were doing this, I would still feel, it could be AJ Styles and I would still feel bad for KO because I like KO.
I'm big on
I can
KO
even
too.
look past that.
I'm big on KO too, but I don't really like the way they're doing the storyline because it's making KO look like a bitch, and he's not. I've seen his matches for, Ring of Honor and all his stuff in NXT. Like, he's not a bitch, and that's what they're making him out to be. And hopefully he gets redemption at Extreme Rules.
I doubt it though. I can't see Braun losing anytime soon.
Oh yeah, he's gonna get crushed. But
they should at least Well, they should at least make it a good match. I don't want to see a damn squash.
My favorite version of KO was when he literally beat Sami Zayn so badly that they had to strip him of the title, and then the first match with Cena. Those were my two favorite KO moments in WWE, and I just feel like that's who the guy needs to be. He needs to be the snide heel that rolls out of the ring as soon as the bell rings just to piss off the babyface, and then just destroy with power bombs and fists and cannonballs.
You damn right. That's KO being his best KO.
Yeah. Be your best self, KO.
sure.
Come on.
Yep.
Yes.
And now he just signed a new contract, so I'm like, maybe they'll really push him now. You know, they know they've got him locked up for 5 years. You know, maybe they'll put him back in some sort of title picture or something. But no, he's basically just getting his ass beat by Braun on Braun's freaking, wrecking trail to championship glory whenever that seems to happen.
Yeah, but I mean that's still like a big thing though, because I mean it was the last segment of the show. So clearly, it's supposed to be a big thing. Hopefully they announce the cage
I
match.
don't know that it's supposed to be a big thing for KO though. I think it's supposed to be, it's whatever heel
Braun.
makes the most sense to feed to Braun at the time.
I don't know. I just hope that the match is good. And hopefully, I mean, like I said last week, I don't really like cage matches too much. I want to see some more violence, more Attitude Era style violence. So maybe they'll change the stipulation, and that's why they haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
It's possible. I could see that being some sort of cage or Hell in a Cell or something that keeps them confined into one place so KO can't run off.
Right.
That it seems like they're building to that. So, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of the storyline. I mean, even looking outside of the fact that I'm a KO fan, I mean, if it was anybody that Braun is just doing that to for no reason, it just makes Braun look like a dumbass and just like a douchebag that beats everybody up. Like they're making him look like a heel, kind of.
Well, they're making him look like an ass kicker, but they're just not. It's all about implementation, because when Stone Cold was that guy, it was awesome because they were telling the right story. Now it's just like a guy that runs through people like a freight train, but like I don't know. It's convoluted, I guess. I mean, I feel like for the first time there was a reason, because KO was healing on him, but then like the subsequent 400 train wrecks probably weren't necessary. They definitely got old.
No. Yeah, it did. And it continually does, and I'm sure it's not going to stop next week either.
No, not at all.
Nope.
The only positive, before you move on, the only positive that could come from this is if Braun Strowman tries to run through him again in the cage, smashes into the cage and knocks himself out, and KO wins. Which is a finish I could see them doing to try to keep both guys strong.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I could definitely see that. So, SmackDown this week, I guess we got a couple of semi-big matches. So we got Jeff Hardy had a U.S. Open challenge. And The Miz answered the challenge, and that match, oh God, I thought it would be good. It was just super slow.
Yeah.
I mean, that
goes back to what you were saying earlier about Jeff being old and not able to work as well anymore.
I believe your exact word was decrepit.
I didn't say decrepit, but that's pretty accurate. The match was so slow.
It could also be like could have been a spontaneous booking. I don't know if these guys have a lot of experience working together. I mean, there was a lot of holds in that match, a lot of rest
there
holds.
were.
So it had to have been just a lack of working together, just giving them, two big guys on SmackDown something
That's
to do.
true. They didn't seem to have a whole lot of chemistry. Like even like every spot they went to, it just seemed like it looked like a fake fight. And I know it's fake, but it looked like a fake fight. The kicks and everything were just way off. They just moved from spot to spot, and it wasn't real smooth or real fluid at all. So I was extremely disappointed in that one. Now, the next feud I'm kind of looking forward to a little bit is Sanity and the New Day. After this week's the pancake eating contest that turned into Sanity just kicking the shit out of the New Day, which I'm kind of glad they did. But I think those are going to be some great matches if that's what they're heading to. And I kind of hope one of them ends up on Extreme Rules, or I hope the it ends up on Extreme Rules.
I definitely love that. That was probably the best segment on SmackDown and Raw this week, was just them getting ran down like that.
It definitely was.
But for a minute there, I totally thought that they were going to let them eat a bunch of pancakes. Like, I totally thought that was going to be it. Especially after that dance-off a couple of weeks ago.
We don't like to talk about that.
What the hell is going on? Like, where's Shane McMahon at? And why isn't he regulating this? Like, Paige is, like, totally...
Oh, no, it's WWE creative. I think Road Dogg is definitely still on staff there, so we usually accredit those stupid segments to him.
Not a big Road Dogg fan. I got it written down now.
Not booking-wise, no. SmackDown didn't start getting good until they got the Shake-Up guys this past.
I don't know, man. I feel like there are many writers on that show, and he's just the one we're aware of, so it's probably not him.
Oh, yeah. I know. I don't have other names, so we go ahead and collectively put them all under the Road Dogg.
Oh, you didn't know?
Your ass better call somebody, okay? Okay. Other than that, SmackDown, not great this week. I was a little bit disappointed with it. Our main event was Team Hell No taking on the Usos, which was, it was okay. It was weird seeing Kane pin somebody because I haven't seen that in a while.
I'm not really too hyped about Daniel Bryan ever since he came back. I kind of liked him more as a GM.
Really?
Yeah, I know it sounds cruel and shit, but like I watch Total Bellas and like I like him on there, and like I watch I watch Total Bellas and I watch him on there. I don't know what else I was gonna say. Yeah, I watch Total Bellas and I also watch wrestling, and I liked him better
as a Total Bellas person character.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that I watched, Talking Smack and everything, and he was good on there and as the GM. But I don't know, man. I just kind of like him more as a personality than I do a wrestler. I'm not really big on the on his moveset.
Okay. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
I'm not really big on your moveset. I'm not really big on your mouth set.
Kind of wishing that you didn't ask me to permanently come
what a
on
huge
the
mistake.
show now, huh? I like Jinder Mahal. I hate Goldberg. I don't really like Daniel Bryan as a wrestler. It's probably like 4 other things too.
All the better to feud with.
Just in this one podcast. You're gonna feel real bad when I beat you in the
brother.
Here.
No.
Oh man.
I'm the reigning.
You're both gonna feel real bad when I win.
No, dude.
You're the 2-time. I'm talking to the 2-time here. I know.
That's true. Well, he's still technically the 1-time because he hasn't lost it yet.
Listen, the Shucky Ducky quack 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 moment of the week will be me reigning and defending and conquering at Extreme Rules, y'all.
Oh man. What?
We'll see.
I'm gonna start having.
Yes, we will.
I'm gonna start having an open challenge weekly where you guys you can challenge me on one match a week,
and you pick it.
We have to know what it is.
Yeah, it'll have
right?
to be in a match that's announced where we'll.
Yeah, like the 1 or 2 that get announced. I got you.
We'll take you up on that on Twitter.
All right.
Perhaps.
We will. So 205 Live was okay this week. We had Noam Dar beat TJ Perkins, which I was kind of happy about. It's good to see Noam Dar back, not involved with a feud with Alicia Fox, and doing some good wrestling. And I always love seeing TJP lose because I can't stand that dude. Anyone that still dabs, I can't have any respect for you.
You don't love the dab?
Oh my God.
Scott, man. We were on a roll, man, until you said you didn't like
I hate
TJP.
I can't stand the dude. Ugh.
I love me some TJP, man. I really do. I need to get me that figure.
God.
That one when it came with the title.
Oh, God.
Yeah, speaking of Alicia Fox, she was in that 14-second part of that segment, and then she wasn't in anything else this week. So it's like, why?
They got nothing to do with her.
Why even, that's what I'm saying. Like, why even bring her up in that segment? Like, why not just bring her up whenever it's time for her to do something?
Because they want you to know, like, hey, she's back, but we got nothing for her. So
They just want to keep you in her mind.
Like, hey, we're paying her to do house shows.
Want to keep her in your mind.
Yeah, keep her fresh, man.
Alicia Fox is always in my mind, if you must know.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, the 205 Live main event was Buddy Murphy against Mustafa Ali, which was utterly fantastic, as always. As JR would say, it was a barn burner. Some of the spots in that match were freaking insane. There was one spot where they stood the ring steps up like on their end, so it was like the highest point they could possibly get in the middle of the ring, and they did a superplex off the top of it. Ali superplex, Buddy Murphy off of it. The finish on it you would not expect. I mean, it was perfect. Every time those two dudes get in the ring, they put together a fantastic match. So they could literally fight every week, and I would not be upset about it.
Yeah, that was my match of the week. I think it's except
that's my match of the week
is it?
too.
Hey, let's.
Yes.
All right. So
we all came together.
We did.
The first time we've all agreed. Though I wanted the finish to be the other direction.
But I know you did.
We haven't really spoke about 205 that much, and then the 1 week where I want to make it my match of the week.
I just feel like it was
205. Like the last couple weeks have been kind of like
unquestionably the match of the week this week.
Yeah. I noticed ever since Enzo left, they haven't really had it on Raw at all.
No, they're not going to. They're trying to keep them separate now, which is good. I mean, they barely have enough time to show the Raw superstars on Raw. You know, cruiserweight dudes would just get tucked in, you know, in dark matches and stuff. So I'm glad that they moved it over to Tuesday nights after SmackDown, and those guys get to do their thing. And 205 Live was actually trending on Twitter this week for the first time ever. So
I'm happy for those guys, man.
They're starting to get love now, and it's definitely well deserved. I'm really hoping we get a 205 Live match at Extreme Rules. Them cruiserweights need to get some work in, maybe a Cedric title defense or something. So I know next week we're getting Cedric against Hideo Itami, so that one should be. It might be okay. It's not gonna be as good as this week, I don't think, because I'm not a huge Itami fan.
Don't sleep on Hideo Itami, bro. He's great. There was a time
I haven't seen him do anything
he was
good yet.
Considered one of the best wrestlers in the world. We've just kind of.
Well, I haven't seen flashes of that recently, so I'm keeping my mind open, and I would like for him to prove me wrong about him. Okay. So last thing I want to talk about, we all know our match of the week. So Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa, we're actually getting that in 3 weeks and not at TakeOver, which is kind of crazy. So we're getting that on a just regular NXT show in 3 weeks, which does it make you think that they're going to do Gargano and Ciampa at TakeOver again?
I mean, certainly it does now, right? I mean,
yep.
Where else do you go?
Yeah, it also makes me think that Aleister's not losing to Ciampa, and Gargano's probably going to interfere.
You got to give the people what they want, and what they want is both. And so this is the only way to make it happen, I guess.
Very well could be. You know, you get the title match before then. You know, maybe Ciampa wins. Who knows? No, I mean, nothing crazy has really happened on NXT on a regular house show, like quote unquote house show or TV taping. You know, other than Gargano beating EC3 this week, which I wasn't sure how I felt about that, but I don't know.
Well, I feel like you got to keep him strong. I don't think that it was necessarily. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it was that important for him to be beaten. But or for him to win that match, it could have just ended, you know, in the way. Like, I can't even believe I'm defending this, but you know, sometimes you just have to end a match in a fuck finish just because you need to keep both guys strong. Like, so, it's like a necessary evil almost. But yeah, they didn't do it, so whatevs. I mean,
no, it was weird. I feel like though the way they ended it doesn't really make EC3 look bad.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Gargano kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah.
In this match, like his character's changing to a crazy or a crazed guy now because he lost to Ciampa, and he's doing anything he can to basically, you know, get back at Ciampa again. He's just barreling through dudes. So, I mean, it makes sense for storyline wise for Gargano. It doesn't help EC3 that much, but I don't know that it damaged him that much either. He's still extremely over, and I think he'll be just fine. I see him it's either going to be him or Ricochet against Adam Cole at the next TakeOver, I think.
Yeah.
For the North American title.
Well, I'm in.
So yeah. Well, that pretty much takes us to match of the week, which we all know. I mean, Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali. We are anonymously agreeing.
Unanimously.
That's the word I was digging for. We all agree. Definitely match of the week. There was nothing that even came close to it. Those two dudes are at the top of their game right now. At the top of the wrestling game, period, I think. I mean, for them to have two matches already that were fantastic. I mean, easily 5-star matches. I mean, what more can we say?
Yeah, I like the gimmick he's doing too, where it's kind of like the Sub-Zero thing.
You're into that?
Oh, Scotty hates it.
I'm into that.
I don't like it. I liked it when he did it at WrestleMania because it was kind of like a special thing for that. But now that he's doing it every week, I'm like, I'm like, yeah, just use it occasionally. But
kind of like Finn with the makeup.
With the demon thing. Only do it more than once a year. But still, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's his thing. That's fine. He's a great wrestler, so if he wants to do that, come into the ring, whatever. He's putting on badass matches every time he gets in there. So that dude's becoming one of my favorite wrestlers.
Yeah,
Buddy Murphy's already up there for me.
That's not a bad choice either.
Not at all, and he's a good dude outside the ring too. So that makes it all that much better.
A lot of those 205 guys are badass wrestlers, man. Brian Kendrick, TJP, Cedric Alexander, Jack Gallagher, Noam Dar, Drew Gulak.
Gulak's my man.
Tony Nese.
Yeah, they're all great. They really are. They have a strong roster over there. I just wish they got more credit, which I think they're slowly getting there.
I think people are.
They're starting to win over that SmackDown crowd every week.
Yeah.
So it'll keep getting built up.
I honestly feel like the one thing that I want at Extreme Rules is a cruiserweight match in the pre-show.
Yeah, same. I mean, I'd be super, super hyped for any cruiserweight match at this point.
Because it's going to be legit as hell.
It absolutely is. You put any of those dudes in the ring, I'll be happy to see them. Other than Kalisto.
Aw. Poor Lolisto.
Oh, Lolisto. Well, gentlemen, I think that takes us to the end of the show. I think we've covered everything we need to cover this week. So all of you listeners out there, be sure to follow us on all the social medias, on Twitter at BotchCast, on Instagram at wrestlingbotchcast, and on Facebook.com/wrestlingbotchcast. You can find our website at wrestlingbotchcast.com. Be sure that you hop onto Apple Podcasts, leave us a 3-star review, tell us what you think, leave a funny review, leave a hateful review. We really don't care. And it's very likely that if you do, we're going to shout you out no matter how bad it is. Actually, the badder it is, the more likely we're going to shout you out.
The more baddest.
The more baddest.
One disclaimer though, if there's any slurring or racial epithets, I'm not shouting you out for that. So steer clear of that shit, man, because I don't need to hear it.
We don't support racism here on the Wrestling Botchcast. But yeah, hop on there, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you got to do. Leave us a review, and we will catch you guys next week.
Same botch time, same botch channel.
Later.
Good night.
Marks.